Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at more gut feeling stories. Yeah, let's just get right into the video. As I'm me, I get off the elevator where I think my car is parked and it's nowhere to be found. This is not unusual, so I start wandering around, pushing the button for it to beep. After about a minute of wandering, I notice a guy walking around too. He doesn't appear to be following me, but he's giving me the creeps anyway, so I keep an eye on him. There is no one else on the level except him and me. Finally, I determined that my car must not be on that level and get in the elevator to go down a level. I get off the elevator and keep an eye on it for a second. The guy doesn't appear, so I brush it off as my paranoia. I start walking around pushing the button again. Then, as I turn the corner, there's the guy again. So this time, I know he's following me. I head for the elevators. Then I notice that he's heading that way too, and is on par to cut me off, and I start to panic. Again, we're alone on that level. Just then, the elevator doors open and two guys in suits get off. I run up to them and say, "There you guys are. I've been looking for you all over this level and the one above. Where the hell did you guys park?" And I laugh. The guys kind of look at me weird, but to their credit, they don't even blink, and one of them responds with, "Oh sorry, we're on this level, but we brought Tom's car instead of mine and I forgot to tell you. We're parked over here." And they lead me away. I see the guy that had been following me stop, stare, and then start down the stairs beside the elevator. Once he leaves, I tell the guys what happened and they help me find my car. It was on the first level, I just never got close enough to hear it beep, and I was safe. To this day, I know that guy was waiting for me to find my car so he could do something nefarious. I avoid parking garages at all costs now. If I'm forced to park in one, I take a picture of where I parked so I don't get lost anymore. I also carry pepper spray on my keychain.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so glad those guys helped her, because I feel like a lot of people would just be like,
"Oh, don't come near me."
That's the scariest feeling though, when you get that like gut instinct feeling and you're just like,
There's something up, like something is up.
But you don't know what it is, so you get like really anxious and you don't know if you're just like overthinking or something. But always follow your gut feelings, alright? They're there for a reason, don't ignore it. When I was 10 years old, my grandma was watching my younger siblings and me while our parents were at a weekend-long work conference. We were sitting in the living room eating pancakes, and my siblings were watching cartoons while I read the newest Harry Potter book, which had just come out the day before. My brother asked my grandma for more pancakes and she started to get up. I was only half paying attention because I was engrossed in my book, but out of the corner of my eye, I felt like she was taking longer than usual. She tried to get up, but her leg wouldn't move. She tried to pick it up with her hands, but one of her hands wouldn't move. I knew something was wrong and I put down my book. Then she fell out of her chair onto the floor. I screamed and she tried to tell me that she was fine. Her leg had just fallen asleep and she tripped, but her voice was coming out all slurred and only half of her face was moving. I recognized the signs of a stroke. I ran into the kitchen. She had no cell phone back then and called 911. Well, first I called my best friend, the only number I could remember, and asked her mum if I needed to dial an area code before 911. Then I called 911. Meanwhile, my siblings got the handyman who was mowing the backyard to come in and help out. The ambulance arrived and they took her to the hospital, and I don't remember much else. My best friend's mum must have somehow gotten a hold of my parents because they did eventually show up at the hospital. But here's the good news. Because she was treated so quickly, she made a full recovery and is still alive and in good health almost 20 years later. Thank gosh. Oh, right. Signs of a stroke. It's, what is that? The acronym FAST, F-A-S-T. F-A-S-T? So F is face, A is arms, and S is speech, and T is time. Right, so if your face is like drooping or like one side is drooping, that's a sign. A is your arms because your arms feel weak, right? S is your speech is slurring, and T is time. So quickly go to the hospital. Don't waste any more time. The thing for me is like after I read like all these tips and everything, I end up forgetting them like a day later.
Which is not good.
I was sitting on the beach alone and noticed that a man walking along the water was staring at me. I tried to shake it off, thinking maybe he had friends or family somewhere behind and wasn't actually looking at me. He started walking up from the water and walked right up to me, but he didn't stop and circled around me. I felt awkward, so I didn't make eye contact. He walked away. I'm thinking at the time maybe it was in my head.
That is sus.
About an hour later, he came back and did the same thing. An hour later, she's still sitting there. I would have been gone. Went down to the water, looked at me, and then started walking up to me. He came right up to me again, and as he starts to circle me, I look at him and notice he's staring not only at me, but also at all of my things, like he was taking inventory of what I had with me. I finally said, "Can I help you?" And he seemed surprised that I spoke up and says, "Oh, no, 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 no," and walks away. After he walked away, I couldn't shake that uneasy gut feeling. They say when you know something is wrong, not to ignore your gut feeling, and I can't explain it, but I knew. I was too scared to walk back to my car alone, so I ended up walking over to another man nearby who had been keeping to himself and told him what had happened and that I just wanted someone to walk back to the parking lot with so I wouldn't have to walk back alone. He confirmed that the man was in fact totally watching me the entire time I was there. He noticed and said he saw him creeping around a couple other girls as well. That beach is ruined for me. As I walked back with a kind stranger, I still felt like I was being watched and I was paranoid my entire drive home. I'm so thankful for that kind stranger. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and if you feel like you're in danger, don't ignore that feeling. True. What a creep though, seriously? Why was he circling around her like twice? And how big was the circle that he circled around her? Because what I was imagining was just he was just circling around her like really close. That's freaking awkward. I think after he left though, I would have just left as well. But good on her for asking for help. A few weeks ago, baby woke up in the night. I settled him, but instead of going back to bed like normal, I sat outside his room waiting for him to settle. I thought he wasn't settled because the movement icon on the monitor was flashing. I poked my head in thinking, why is he moving so much? Except it was not silent in his room. The voice in my head sounded, something is not right. I went to put my hand on his back and found out he wasn't breathing. I managed to get him back, but I think I had a tiny stroke from fear. I've never been even more terrified. If I'd gone back to bed, my baby would have not woken up the next morning. I am grateful for mum instincts and I listen to them hardcore now. I don't give a crap if people think I'm paranoid. My gut saved my boy. Mum instincts are the best. They always know. You know, that's why when you can't find something, your mum already has it in her hand.
She's about to whoop you because she was like, if I find it, you're dead.
It was at a local mall a few years ago. I was there with a friend. She went into the bathroom and I was waiting alone outside the bathroom. It was near closing hours, so it wasn't surprising that some guard told me that it was almost time to leave. But before I could respond to it, I took one good look at him and my stomach turned. It was not a guard, but he acted like he was. He then offered to escort me out of the building. People walked past and I noticed his badge was plastic and from some toy store. I just told him no and kept on waiting for my friend. Every time I looked at him, my stomach turned and I got shivers. When my friend got out of the bathroom, he was gone. She asked me who I was talking to and after I told her, we got out of there quick. A week after, I was there again to get some stuff and asked an actual security guard about the guy from earlier. They had to escort him out several times because he kept posing as a guard to get teenagers to come into his car. How has it not been like reported or like, you know, no one called the police on him? I haven't seen the guy since and it still gives me the creeps when I see that bathroom door. Waiting there felt like years. Who knows what could have happened if I listened to him. I also wonder if anyone ever actually followed him. I hope not. I feel like some people might have. Oh my, hopefully not. But I'm just wondering, like, how has he been there for so long, though? Like, it's not the first time he's done it. He's done it several times. And they still let him back in. I woke up an hour and a half before my alarm and couldn't go back to sleep. So I got up to make my partner's lunch. I got up and the front door was open and the living room light was on. My mum was staying with me and had her dog, so I assumed she took her outside, but the air around me felt really weird. So I started making the lunch and realized she still hadn't come in. I opened the door to look outside and she's at the bottom of my porch steps, laying in a pool of blood. I thought she had gotten shot. Turns out she tripped up walking down my stairs and cracked her head open. Spent a week in the hospital with a brain injury. She's okay now. The doctors actually had found a spot in her leg where her cancer had spread and found it earlier than they would have if she hadn't fallen. What in the world? That's so scary, but dude, what the... like, I don't want to say I'm glad it happened because... Well, I'm just glad she found the cancer early. honestly. And I'm glad she's okay now. It's just so scary how you're like planning to do something like in the afternoon or something, right? Like you don't think something is going to happen to you before that afternoon. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!